Welcome to episode 78 of the Pulse of Physiology. I'm your host, Dr. Jim Davis, and today we're focusing on spermatogenesis, the process by which sperm are produced in the male reproductive system. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the steps of sperm development, the role of supporting cells, and how hormones regulate this process. So let's get started. So to start off, let's define our terms. Spermatogenesis is the overall process of sperm cell development, starting with spermatogonia and ending with spermatids. Spermiogenesis is the final stage of spermatogenesis in which spermatids mature into spermatozoa or sperm cells. Now, spermatogenesis occurs in the seminiferous tubes of the testes. This process takes about 64 days and produces about 100 to 200 million sperm each day. Now, within spermatogenesis, there are multiple stages. First, we have spermatogonia, which are stem cells. These are located along the basement membrane of seminiferous tubules, and they undergo mitosis to maintain the stem cell pool and create primary spermatocytes. Primary spermatocytes undergo meiosis I, which forms secondary spermatocytes. Secondary spermatocytes undergo meiosis II, which produces spermatids. Now, spermatids then undergo spermiogenesis, during which they condense their nucleus, they develop a flagellum, they lose most of their cytoplasm, and they form an acrosome. And an acrosome is a cap that helps the sperm penetrate the egg. As a result, men end up with mature motile spermatozoa, which are released into the lumen of the seminiferous tubules. Now, there are some supporting cells that help with this process. So you've got sustentacular, also known as Sertoli cells, and these cells support and nourish developing sperm. They form the barrier, or a blood testes barrier, and they secrete inhibin as well as androgen binding protein, or ABP. Then there are also interstitial or Leydig cells. These cells are located between the seminiferous tubules, and they produce testosterone in response to luteinizing hormone. Now, the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis tightly regulates spermatogenesis. GnRH, which is released from the hypothalamus, stimulates the anterior pituitary to release FSH and LH. So FSH, or follicle-stimulating hormone, acts on sustentacular cells to support sperm development. FSH also stimulates production of androgen-binding protein, which binds testosterone in the tubules. Luteinizing hormone acts on interstitial or Leydig cells to produce testosterone. And testosterone supports spermatogenesis as well as the development of secondary sex characteristics, and it also provides negative feedback, which inhibits the release of GnRH and LH. Finally, there's inhibin. Inhibin is secreted by those sustentacular or Sertoli cells and provides negative feedback to inhibit the secretion of follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH. So to summarize, spermatogenesis begins with stem cells and ends with spermatids. Spermiogenesis transforms spermatids into mature sperm. Sustentacular cells support sperm development, whereas interstitial cells produce testosterone. Hormones from the hypothalamus, anterior pituitary, and testes coordinate and regulate the process. That's it for episode 78 of the Pulse of Physiology. Come back next time for episode 79, where we'll focus on oogenesis and the ovarian cycle. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.